crack house areas?
No, this was a very nice neighborhood. Like not like nice for
Racist comes in all classes, social
yeah,
classes.
we're talking about like I'm talking about nice and
So
like
does crazy.
and out in the middle of nowhere.
So does
nice.
crazy.
Right. So this lady, like these people had like a two-decker home with like land, and everything was nice. No reason. All my manager told me is like all I did was put the box on their porch, and then I was coming back to leave. And all of a sudden I turn around and he's like, "You better get off my lawn, you fucking Mexican bitch!" I started chasing him. So he's stabbing my fucking door with a knife, and I'm just like, I looked at my manager. I was like, "Give me my backpack." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Give me my fucking backpack." And I pulled out my gun from the backpack. She's like, "You're not supposed to have that." I was like, "Yeah." And he's not supposed to be trying to stab us.
I was
just
just
make an exception here.
I was gonna say at least he had a knife and not a gun, because if he's running at her with the knife, and if he had a gun, he probably would have been shooting.
Yeah.
So,
This is okay. I just posted on Discord. This is why Imagine went on.
what's going on here?
Yeah, so I'm literally I pulled it out and I looked.
R. Kelly.
I pulled it out and I just show it to him,
dude.
and he's just like, "Oh." He's like, "You fucking Mexican fucks with your guns and shit. Why can't you ever fight a real man with a knife?" And I looked at him and I was like,
Are
"Okay."
you,
And I just punched him in the face and he fell off the truck.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I assure you, it's like herding cats over here.
I actually have a cat with me right now.
Oh, let me see.
Floofs.
Come on,
Floofs.
come on up here. Come
I
on.
demand a
You
floof.
knocked on my headset.
I
Floof.
wanna see.
Floof.
Oh, kitty.
Oh, that's a very floofy floof.
Hi, kitty.
Yeah,
What's
his
his
name's
name?
Buddy. He becomes friends with everyone.
His name's Buddy.
Yep. He knocked down my headphones when he hopped down earlier.
Aww.
The cat actually likes you. It's always cool when a cat likes you. You know what I mean?
Oh, I met so many
likes
friendly
anyone.
cats.
Yeah.
He likes
I have a
yeah.
lot of
There's,
friendly cats.
You're making Leela upset
Oh, my dog's getting jealous.
because you're saying that name.
I saw your
Buddy?
Yeah.
She's like
Buddy?
looking at you like, what are you doing?
Buddy,
Our-
look at her. Look at
Yeah,
her.
my
look at this.
my brother has a dog named Buddy, and we used to
Buddy.
live with them. So anytime he calls me, she gets super
Look
jealous.
at her. Look at her. She's.
Oh, look what you did! Look what you did! Now she's all upset.
is that a dog or a shaved raccoon? I'm confused.
Aw.
Floof's got to have fur, man. Got to have fur.
Hi.
OMG. We got to see if you guys are going to survive tonight. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, aren't we on
We'll
the way
see.
to?
We'll see. The doctor's on the ground and I'm almost dead, so I don't know how those
Yeah,
are
I'm
gonna go.
almost dead too.
At least you guys are all on the ship. Okay?
Yeah, we're all leaving you. That's the
I
problem.
Listen. Let's be honest. I don't know who got the
Wait, we've
short
got
in the straw
potions.
because we're in this ship going off into a storm
We're
with the
getting
man that
chased.
started to
Well, we
learn
have
how
med
to fly
packs.
it.
You gotta
Now
throw
on
it
the
down
ground,
to him.
possibly somewhere else.
How do med packs work? Do you just smash it in your face or what?
No.
Like drink
No,
it?
you have to apply it.
You have to. It's got like.
But I have.
bandages and stuff.
What about
I'm assuming,
potions of
and
healing?
salves.
Yeah, you still have
That's
to
a-
apply those.
You have to aim.
Potions of healing? Don't you just drink it?
These are really good. I didn't know these existed.
How do you expect me to drink it if I'm 120 feet on the ground, on my back, unconscious,
Oh shit!
and you guys are in the air, flying away?
Leela.
How do we save him?
You don't.
No.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. He failed that charisma save horribly.
I
So
don't like this.
Oh yay!
Yeah, that one.
that one, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
This tastes like I'm licking the outside of like those little frosted animal crackers, and it's really good.
What, chocolate.
Anything Ghirardelli is good.
Yeah, it's the white chocolate sugar cookie. I didn't even know that was a thing, and then I
think
you
that's
know,
new.
got it on my way on my way home today, and I was like, oh, this is really yummy.
I think that's new.
And then of course I got peppermint bark because that's my favorite.
Buddy's so cute.
Oh my God, you guys are so funny. Love it.
Your
Hey,
face
happy
is
Wednesday,
funny.
everybody. We are live for now. We'll see how many will remain live after the fact. But yeah, we're at an interesting point. We have a potential backstory reveal tonight. That should be lots of fun. Let me fix my tabs. I didn't realize my tabs had gotten all wonky. Close that, and you can close that. And I'm still getting used to this. Sound okay for everybody?
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds great.
Cool. So yeah, happy Wednesday, everybody. I've been world building all week. We've got a studio game for you every Sunday night now. They'll be kicking off a new campaign called The Absent Throne. It's in a custom world and custom everything. I'm building it all from scratch. It's actually been kind of fun building the maps and building everything and the detail. And I begin to realize I'm just on the one region of the main continent map, and I've got, 15 other regions to still do, so it's fun. It's interesting. A little painful. Our schedule will be going through some changes in the next few weeks. We've been discussing with Enigma here, who plays Calamex. We are working on bringing you Star Wars in the near future. Maybe the next month or so, as we begin to organize it, try to get some players together. We'll be doing Star Wars role-playing. We also will be saying goodbye to a regular scheduled one-shot event. We are now going to do one-shots as a pop-up event when we know we have some free time, but we'll do it occasionally. Friday, Age of Arcanum, that's on Friday nights from 7 to 10, will be wrapping up in 2 weeks, or technically today's Wednesday, a week and a half. We'll be wrapping up that one, and we will be turning that Friday time slot eventually into a live studio game. Denizens and Their Masters, Tuesday night. We're still coming to you every night Tuesday. Monday, Faerun Reborn is actually finally in the final arc of the campaign. And they are now approaching tier 4. They're officially tier 4, so that's been kind of fun. But yeah, I expect Monday night to wrap up probably within the next couple months. And then, of course, Wednesday, Denizens and Their Masters. Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we're bringing you another Wildmont adventure called The Graying Lands, and that will be 4 to 7 p.m. on Saturday evenings. We will probably take the occasional 2 weeks off coming up here for the holidays, probably the Christmas week and leading up to New Year's. We'll probably take that as a break and then come back after New Year's for our regular shows and everything else. We'll do a lot of repeats and reruns to kind of help you, get caught up, and do a lot of world building sessions as well as we begin to try to get ready for a busy 2022 with some new live studio games, as well as hopefully some new RPG based games. I'm super excited about the Star Wars one because I get to be in it. It should be super fun. But yeah, so we'll have some schedule changes and things changing in the near future. But for now, let's... and everything you need to know about us is down below in the About section. Our schedule, all of our different family of creators, which will be updated over the next couple weeks as well. There's some new links I want to add there to some of our alt creators and other channel creators as well. But tonight is the Descendants, which is our alt 1920s campaign. We went through a soft reboot, I want to say about 2 sessions ago, and so far I'm loving it. This group has turned into a bunch of crazy mess chaos killers who seem to be constantly chasing their tails, but they are gorgeous tails. And well, let's go ahead and quickly recap where we last left off. Bring up my notes. So, the team, after surviving the assault on Stanton, meeting up with Brash Rhythm and Memoris to travelers that found themselves amongst the debris and survived the destruction of Stanton, did aid our party in destroying the creatures that had kind of lingered behind, and have now kind of tagged along. Tagging along for now, as the team left behind some members as well as a baby dragon in the care of Caldev and Random Ward. And it was discussed, once they figured out actually how to fly the airship, they made their way towards a community called Hayward. Once in Hayward, they discovered a few things. Number one, Hayward seems to be a town that can support the trafficking of air dirigibles, as they found 2 functioning stanchions that allowed the airship to make dock. They also made this journey with the knowledge that the storm was on its way in. So they quickly made their way into Hayward. Some stayed on board, some made their way into town. Unfortunately, they discovered that this town may be plagued with these groups called True Believers. Individuals that seem to think that the newcomers from the other side should be purged and gotten rid of in order to protect Terrans from the scourge that is the others. This began to unfold in the town itself. The team began to retreat quickly back to the docking station. At this point, in the midst of a storm breaking all around them and doing their best to make their way up the gangway and onto the stanchion ramp, while also being fired upon by the approaching trucks into the area. There was one remaining cable that had attached the airship to the stanchion, the main stanchion. Calimax, taking that opportunity, leaped off the viewing platform of the airship, managed to sever, using his aspect dragon hand, to sever the cable midair. Unfortunately, when he tried to recover and grab onto the cable, he began to fall. On board the airship, the others watched this unfold as many are wounded, injured. The airship is now beginning to finally break free of the docking system and float higher up into the storm. But one by one, the memories around you fade, Calimex. One by one, your current self falls deeper into your past self. One by one, you begin to realize something is not quite right. You slip into a darkness that you have not felt for a very long time. A darkness that takes you back as you hear a familiar voice looming over your small, young form, lying on the ground in your tattered remnants of clothes. Looking up into the face of an individual you hadn't seen for some time. Oops, that's the wrong one. These days I'll get it right, I promise. Looking up into the face of an individual staring down at you. Big, long, gray and black beard. Kind of ponytailed down into an end. Skull of a small animal emblazoned upon it. His big purple, black, and yellow robery kind of trailing behind him. Once again, the hand. Crack! Across your face. Deep wounds from this thing, this man, this wizard, this creature in your mind's eye. Get up. You will learn what I'm here to teach you. Get up, or I will break your bones and remake them again. The man stands away from you, maybe 10, 15 feet away. Your small, childlike hands to the right and left of you. You look down at them. Doesn't make sense. You begin with that anger to see your scales come into existence. Yes, you begin to understand. You belong to me now, no one else. And I will make my future with you. Suddenly there's a swirl of energy around you. You're in your full transmuted dragon form, your young dragon form. The pain of the archonic aspect around you, transforming you, changing you, pulling your flesh apart, remaking it, your bones and muscle being unstitched and being remade. Your juvenile self now looks at this hated man. He never changes in age. You lose track. 50 years? 100 years? How fucking long has it been? You keep losing that thought of time in your mind. The energy swirls about you again, and this time you stand at your full height. The juvenile wings painful to your back as they've been remade as well. The magic arcane aspect that floats and courses through your blood, whatever this man has done, he's done with purpose and intent. He is remaking you by the century. Each century, he pulls your memories apart. He pulls your physical being apart. He pulls everything that is the steel of you, the dragon of you. You will learn to control what I make you. When I choose to unleash you upon my enemies, you do my bidding. Cities will melt. Populations will burn. Leaders will tremble. You will be the coming of my age. You will be the future this world deserves. The energy shifts, rotates around you yet again. 1,000 years, 1,200 years, maybe 1,500 years. It's hard to tell, yet this man still doesn't age. And here he stands, the base of his tower, staring up at you, his creation, his augmentation, the aspect magic swirling about your body, coalescing over your skin, striking outward, inward. You feel the breath weapon charge inside of you, and you blaze it out in glory up in the air, swaying all that power around. There's sound, there's fury, there's anger, there's all manner of emotion boiling inside of you as you hover over the city. Looking down, you can see great crowds of populations running in fear in all manner of direction. There the man floats beside you. A wicked look on his face. Yes, this is the world we shall remake. Out of the corner of your eye, a flash, an explosion. 6 individuals float in to the immediate range of you and this wizard that you wish you could just destroy. A battle ensues. He falls. You're banished. But the aspect magic that made you has no more tether. There's no more binding. There's no more keeping. When you reappear in that exact same space, some minutes later, the city burns below, but there's no sign of the individuals that felled that wizard. There's no sign of the wizard. You linger, hate and vengeance in your heart. You drift off into the tall spires of the windswept peaks, finding that space to hide, to hunker low, and to wait and bide your time. Maybe the 2nd, 3rd millennia, It's hard to know for sure, but you wake, you stir. Something wakens you, something stirs you as you wake to a dying world all around you. A single energy of mist and almost like a portal of sort hovers off in the distance. And as you begin to arc your way towards it, you see great masses of populations making their way as well. And an old feeling stirs and rises up in your chest. That hate, that anger, somewhere down there he is. He must be down there. And without even realizing it, you arc up and you dive towards the population of people streaming into this portal. And you let loose an arc of fire and energy and death, unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Great swaths of crowds of people die by the hundreds, by the thousands. Yes, deep inside your head, you hear his voice. There's no physical manifestation of this wizard. There is just the training, the undoing. You don't see him, but his hate, his anger, his malice lingers in your mind. You are made. You are the chaos bringer. You will reshape anything with your hate, your malicious intent. You are perfect. For those of you in the dirigible, the great wind begins to bellow and shift around. One by one, you look out the window only to see something that you've never seen before. Some of you have heard rumors of it. Some of you have seen a baby kind of manifestation of it as well. But there, floating just off the edge of the dirigible, just before Calamix plunges into the ground, two massive wings spread outward. A 200-foot monstrous dragon just appears where Calamix once was. And you're staring down at this creature as it floats back up into the sky. Great epaulets of astral arcane energy pouring from his eyes. He looks, he stares, his great neck arcing backwards, his mouth open, swings right by the front of the dirigible. You could see these eyes about the size of houses, a face bigger than the dirigible itself. And the great beast looks down and only sees hundreds and thousands of his maker. His opportunity to finally kill that son of a bitch has arrived. His form arches up, dips, dives, and a massive explosion just begins to rend across the town of Hayward. The fairgrounds, the stanchion, everything melts, destroyed, disintegrated in seconds.
Whoa.
The firing stops. The dirigible lifts. Calamix, you arc towards the sky, your massive head turning to see this strange creature floating away from you. It's drifting. It's getting away.
You chase it.
You begin to chase it. You watch as suddenly Calamix's dragon form takes off and is making a direct arc for the dirigible. Calamix, give me a charisma save, please.
As in my dragon form?
Yes.
Or in my human?
In your dragon form.
Okay.
Dragon is very charismatic.
That's a 34.
Yeah.
What?
Suddenly, all of you feel the dirigible just shudder and quiver as Calamix, you regain control, and now you're hovering. You stop in front. As he sits there and hovers in the storm and the thunder, a couple streaks of lightning crash into him. His massive head, the size of the dirigible, just swings one of the large eyes. Calamix, you have your mind back again, but your form is still your dragon form.
He looks down at the city. And all
Hayward
you guys
is-
hear in Draconic is, "What have I done? I swore to never do this again. No!" And I just scream like a scorch acid and poison breath in the air.
And you watch as it rains down onto the town of Hayward. What wasn't ruined now burns and decays under this massive spray of anger and frustration. You guys watch as he begins to regain control. His wings shrink. His form begins to shrink. His body. The next thing you know, he's in a kind of transmuted state. Part physical Calamex is returning to a more remembering size of what he was before he shifted. And as his form transmutes and he lands carefully on the interior of the airship, he just collapses. You watch as the last of his form just blends and melts in to his back. His wings shrink, his skin reforms. You watch as the organic matter that he's been experimenting with begins to once again cover the patches of silver and blackened scales. And now it's almost as if he sleeps, drawing deep breaths, but unconscious, but back on the airship. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna run over and be like, let's help get him inside.
Brash kind of like works her way up out of the turret pit thing and like parks herself like halfway in and out and goes, "Why do we have this if we have a dragon? What? We have a Why do we need this ship if we have a dragon?"
They all look dumbfounded at you. Well...
I'm actually bigger than almost every other dragon on the planet Earth.
Kiki, Alan has you muted, by the way.
That's
Dang it, McCallum. Muted everybody.
Yeah, McCallan, you're currently muted.
Cold.
Does he not know that he's muted?
issues. It just
Oh.
disconnected.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh
You
yeah,
hear
it
me?
wasn't working.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there it goes.
I'm gonna
Yeah, for whatever
try
reason,
to drag
it just
him inside and
muted.
say, hey, let's get him inside. And
I'm actually not sure you can actually pick up this form.
well, I'm gonna try. And you're
I'm
you're
strong.
asleep. You're
I'm
asleep.
gonna
You
try
can't
help.
talk right now. You're asleep.
All right, so I'll
I'm just
say
saying,
Brash.
I weigh about a ton.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still
Brash,
trying.
go
trying.
ahead and give me an athletics check with advantage as you and Kiki are trying to drag him a little bit further into the interior of the dirigible. McCallan, you're currently struggling to keep this thing steady in the storm,
Trying to
and you're
pull-
rapidly rising up above the storm. Remember,
Memories,
you're kind of
come help.
you're kind of
26.
hovering nearby.
Remember, it's
out.
just he kind of looks out one of the windows at what just unfolded and the destruction below, and then he kind of looks at Calamex, kind of with this little glint in his eye of, this is a possibility. This is a chance. And he goes to help with moving him back inside and away from possibly falling out and that happening again.
Brash, what'd you roll?
26.
26.
Drunk.
Between
Strong
the
kitty. Good
three
kitty.
of you, you could barely drag him. It takes you about 10 minutes to drag his form into the medical bay on the dirigible, on the airship.
I'm gonna crack a potion of. I have 4 of them. I'm gonna crack a potion of healing and just like open his mouth and go. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm not unconscious because
Yes, you are. You're sleeping.
No, it's not because I have no hit points.
I don't
That's
know
not
that. You don't
Yeah,
need
she
to,
wouldn't
like,
know that. I mean, as far as she's
explain.
concerned, yeah.
I don't know
It's not just
that.
because you're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're dead, dude. Like,
True.
that's why I open his mouth. I go, drink up.
Because of the rain, you guys wouldn't have saw it at first, but now you guys will clearly see. Like he's crying in his sleep, like drenched, like it's drenching, it's coming down hard, like a person that's just lost everything.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pour the potion down, make sure he swallows it, and I'm gonna attempt CPR as I've seen some of my doctor friends do.
Go ahead and give me a performance check. And Calamex, you feel something lightly pushing on your chest,
Lightly.
and then somebody's putting their mouth on your mouth
Ooh.
and blowing air
God.
into your lungs.
I got 18.
Yeah, and it's pretty good, decent job, and that's what wakes you up. At the point that Kiki's mouth touches your mouth, your eyes open, and you're like, Kiki, what are you doing?
Hey, you did it!
I saved you! I saved you!
My eyes aren't human anymore. They're purely just the steel dragon eyes.
Oh, your eyes are beautiful. I love it. You look really cool as a dragon, by the way.
He stops and he makes a realization that it actually happened.
Oh.
You can actually see in the horizon of the windows, McCallan is steering the dirigible up and away. You see an entire town is on fire.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem, right? Like, I mean, they started it, so.
You know what? Don't cry. It's okay. We'll talk about this later. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of look like you need a nap, or
get
more
some
of a nap.
rest. Don't be so
Actually,
sad.
I think everybody needs a nap. I need a nap.
Don't be so sad.
He stands up, and he's
Whoa.
taller than what he was.
He got taller?
How tall is he?
He sits about 9 feet
Brash
tall
is
now.
Brash is tall. How tall is Brash? Brash is super tall.
I'm
'Cause
I'm
he's-
tall for like compared to like a normal race.
A normal
I'd
cat.
She's not very
But
tall.
like now, I'm like really short.
Hey, he stands about 9 feet tall right now, and
Oh,
the change physically is that his human skin isn't there anymore. Like it slowly changed as he's standing up.
He's got scales?
It's the scaled dragonborn like skin. Like
Very
the
cool, very
look of a
cool.
half dragon now. As he
Nice.
kind of just he goes like this, and it's like he's wiping off stuff from his face, and it's just the skin just sloughing off.
that's kind of gross.
I
Just
think
watching
that's-
it like slop off, just like
That's so cool. I wish I could do that.
he's molting.
Actually,
He looks
I
at you and
can't.
goes, "Do what?"
No, nothing. I didn't say anything. I just
They should mean
just get some rest, Calamex. You look very stressed out.
McCallan, the phone on the navigation panel rings. It's one of your radio sets.
I'll pick it up.
You pick it up. As you pick it up, you hear red box, warning 4. Red box, warning 4. Please wait for black box patch. There's like a and like a crackling noise. This is black box. Are you aware of incident at Hayward?
We are aware there's something going on. We are in the air, unsure what the situation is. We are avoiding the area.
Give me a deception check.
Oh, please.
He's got this. I believe in him.
Come on.
Not a 7.
Ooh, 23.
Oh shit!
Okay, good. That's not a 7.
I'm officially.
Be aware-
Oh,
With the field, guys.
deceive that bitch! Deceive that bitch!
Be aware, Redbox has sent agents to investigate. Black Box 1, Black Box 1. Are you aware of a town called Suttonville?
We are.
Suttonville.
I told you about it.
Yes.
You're not there.
No, I'm telling him.
Okay,
Out of game.
fine.
I've told him about that town.
Yeah. Above the
Um,
table.
What is your condition? Black Box 4, what is your condition?
Would we black box 4 or black box 1?
We're Black Box 4.
Where are we going
Okay.
right now?
Condition is we're in the air, we're in the storm, holding tight, navigating to a safe landing zone.
Black Box 4, negative. Please proceed to Suttonville. Strange anomaly has been reported. We require investigation.
We will do our best to navigate to Suttonville. We'll contact you again if any issues arise.
Very well. Black Box 4, be aware that Suttonville has been marked as a plague town. Please take normal precautions while in Suttonville. Black Box 4, if for any reason you are unable to leave Suttonville safely, Black Box 2 will be in contact. This is Black Box 1 out. And then red box, terminate connection. And then the hand signal goes into like a strange kind of staticky wire.
I hang up. Okay, and what's the situation going on with everyone else? I'm throwing on the stealth.
Yeah, you're like, go ahead and give me sleight of hand as you're like trying to manage this thing in the storm. They've all kind of retreated back into the medical bay at this point.
Yeah.
That's a 7.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, all of you feel the airship jerk suddenly hard to the right. You're almost over like a 15-degree list. McAllen, go ahead and give me a performance check, please.
That's a 10.
You manage to jam the yoke down and hit one of the pedals, and you feel the airship kind of straighten slightly, but now you're buffeted by these increased winds, and you're doing your best to make your way south of Hayward. South of Hayward,
Hey.
you believe Suttonville to lie maybe somewhere in those trees.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Those
Um,
trees.
can
really
I,
love them.
I've left the medical bay.
It's up to you.
Where are you going? We're
just
trying
walk
to
out.
take you to
I
rest.
literally answer no one. I just walk out and go.
As soon as the dirigible would have like basically jerked, I would have rushed to the where McAllen is.
Okay.
I'm gonna start looking for like bandages or something for myself and Kiki.
I'm
Not
gonna
well.
follow Calamex and Memoris and be like, I think you're under a lot of stress. You need to calm down.
Kiki's like doing a Calamex.
He stands.
You need to.
Calamex stands at his full height and says, "I don't know what happened, but I
Yes.
need to tell you to leave me alone."
Okay, I guess.
And he walks downstairs into the cargo bay.
Okay. I'll let him have his time. And then I'll go over to check out what McAllen's doing.
And as the two of them make their way up, I'm going
Hey,
to tell
buddy,
them,
need any help?
well, we need to get in contact with Miss Brown and, yes, our contact.
He watches a bolt
the
of lightning
Unity
strikes
Council.
the side of the dirigible.
Oh, shit.
No.
Brash, what'd you roll for investigation?
Oh, you told me to roll an investigation? I didn't hear that.
No, it's
My
fine. Give me an investigation roll.
8.
8. Just as it gets hit by this lightning, McAllen drifts hard to an angle that causes all the doors in the medical bay to clack open, and all the inventory begins to just bury you in the medical bay. And you're like,
It's just a cat yelling in the background.
Is it really loud? If it's really loud and I can if I hear it, I'm gonna go run over there.
yeah, you run
panic.
back there, leaving Memoris with McAllen. You can see Brash is like buried under just boxes of inventory of everything that just spilled out of the interior of the cabinetry.
Oh no! I'll assist you, and then I'm gonna help her dig her out.
Calamix, where are you at this point?
He's in the cargo bay.
Okay.
He goes down there and he just cries.
Dirigible kind of shakes around you.
I'm going to say, I'm not very good at this whole piloting thing. I've just started. Any of you have any better...
Only
Or think you
Memoris
could
is
do
there
better.
with you right now.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, you're
memories.
not- Yeah.
I'm checking the box.
I'm trying to dig her out.
I guess I could give it a shot. Yeah.
Oh, it can't be worse than what I'm doing. And
Memories,
Sure.
give me a history check really quick.
Okay. 25.
Damn.
As your memory drifts for just a moment as McKellen actually asks you for aid. And there's a moment where you kind of concentrate and focus. And you remember that particular individual that you were with, and you extracted a memory. And then you release that memory into your own mind. You watch as McKellen, you watch as Memrick sits down in the navigational seat without even looking. Instantly, the dirigible is steady. He's matching the wind speeds and gradually pointing the compass south of Hayward to make towards Suttonville, which is about maybe 2-3 miles south of Hayward.
Okay. I'm gonna tell him, keep her steady. It seems like you have a handle on this. We don't want to head down there just yet. We're not sure if we can trust what's going to be down there.
Understood. I'll let you know when we get close.
Much appreciated. And I'm going to trust that he's going to keep a handle on things and head down to try and find Calamex and Kiki. And try
Give
to
me
get them
investigation
together.
check as you do that.
That is a 24.
Yeah, there's a very soft, muted noise coming from the cargo bay that gets your attention.
All right, I'll head over there.
Okay. As you enter in the cargo bay, you see Calamex kind of leaning and kind of sitting amongst some of those crates that you guys have managed to abscond from Danning.
I'll say to him, hey, Doc, are you all right?
Doesn't answer you. He just stands there.
I'll walk over to him and just put my hand on his shoulder.
As you do, he like flinches because he hasn't realized you're actually there, and he turns to you. What do you want?
Hey, obviously you're in distress, and I don't want to upset you. You seem to have gone through quite a bit in these last few minutes, but we have a big issue that we're dealing with. It seems like Black Box is not actually helping us and may be trying to get us killed.
Then deal with it.
And I will. You're one of the most reliable people in this group, and I was
looks at
hoping
you and
that I
says-
could get your help.
As you say reliable, he stops and starts looking at you and says, reliable? Is that what I am? Reliable? A murderer. It's more like it.
I don't have the greatest past either, and I'm sure there's plenty of skeletons that I could reflect upon, but
Did you just
I
destroy a
understand.
whole city?
you got me there, friend. But
You
I mean,
win.
I'm a real asshole
win,
at bachelor
bro.
parties. Does that count?
You
yeah,
win, bro.
He stops. He's like, then you do not understand.
these are trying times, to say the least. And I know that's something that is weighing heavily on you, and obviously is something that you did not mean to do. I
did it
can't say
your
for
way.
I can't say one way or another, or even start to understand the way you feel from that standpoint. But we do need you, and I'll give you your time. But just know, we are relying on you.
As you say, need him, he kind of just scoffs and says, "Need me," and just sits. He moves closer to like the edge of where the viewing port is for the cargo bay, and just stands there.
And I say, I get it, it's a lot, but personally, I wouldn't be here without you. And for that, I have to thank you. And I'll turn and leave him to himself.
And as you turn out into the hallway, you then pass the medical bay. Kiki is pulling boxes. Brash is climbing out of all the inventory that's spilled into the medical bay. Memoris, you are managing to keep things in a kind of like roundabout condition. Give me a perception check, Memoris.
24.
24. You watch as in the distance, you're like, are those blinking lights? And you watch as a stream of gunfire just rakes across the front navigational viewport. Give me a deck save with advantage because you did see it coming.
Can we get like 5 minutes?
Not
Not be in combat?
22.
You managed to avoid the shrapnel and the plexiglass kind of shattering back towards you. You take 3 points of piercing damage.
Is there
All
like
of
a
you-
announcer in like the navigation area?
Yeah, there's like a con cone that you can yell into.
Okay.
Do you yell into it?
Yeah. I was just checking. I was gonna let him continue. Okay.
Yeah, all of you feel the dirigible shift, and you hear Calamex, you recognize it. Even Brad, it's the same noise that gun that you were using before made, as just
What's
right
going on?
the side of the dirigible. You hear,
I cast Pass Without Trace.
and you feel one of the motors. And now the dirigible begins to list heavily to the right.
Oh no.
What are you guys doing?
Pass Without Trace.
Running
Okay.
out to the top.
Calamex,
top to see what's
as he
going
feels,
on.
as he feels what happened,
Yeah.
he knows. Would he be able to hear the
Oh yeah.
the bullets?
Oh yeah.
He just the welling of the anger of the at humans and just in general, he's just like the anger boils again, and he hits the button to open the cargo bay.
What the fuck?
Cargo bay opens.
Yeah, I'm gonna polymorph.
Drinking time.
I'm gonna polymorph into
It's morphin' time.
because I'm not powerful enough magically to turn myself fully into my full form.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah.
myself into an adult form.
And you cast
Sorry,
it
I
on
had
your-
to do it.
you cast the polymorph, and you feel the aspect magic begin to pour out of you as you leap out into the air and you turn into the adult form of your dragon self. The rest of you kind of collide into each other in the main hallway. You can hear Memoris yelling into the con to get to battle stations. Brash, you can see the cupola is still open.
Brash is gonna just sprint over there and hop back down into the thing.
Oof. You jam yourself down into the seat of the gun. Give me acrobatics. I want to just make sure you don't flub it.
I just might now that you said it. 22.
Yeah, and you immediately rest your hands on the guns and you begin to pivot this turret-like weapon.
It's
give
not
me a
graceful, it's
perception.
very jerky.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Whoa.
Nice.
Rolling really well, apparently.
I know.
Yeah,
Suddenly
good.
you pivot around and
Great.
there's two things you see. You pivot towards the rear of the airship You can see a form fall, and then something big with wings appears.
Does it
And then
look like the
slightly
same
off to your
dragon?
left, you can see blinking lights. And then you see a front end of a airplane just begin to come right in front of you. Give me a D20. Add your dex modifier to it, please.
Okay. Oh, I jinxed it. 9.
9. You are surprised as it just swoops right by you. Your shots just rake right on by it. Calamex, you watch as the plane just comes in between you and the airship. It presents like the backside of the plane, like it's getting ready to corkscrew up and down and make another run on the airship.
He follows that thing. At its blind spot, he's gonna fly and follow it.
Okay.
Because he knows they can't hear him because he
Yeah.
hasn't roared. So
Fair enough.
following
So
them in
you're
the blind
now
spot.
following it in pursuit. And as you are, you look down, there's another plane. And Brash, you don't see it in time, and suddenly you hear as a series of bullets rake the underside of the dirigible. The prop is now out. The airship is listing. Memoris, give me a dex check really quick. Brash, give me a dex save.
Just a
Kiki,
straight
all
dex.
this is going on around you.
Can I
McAllen.
see it?
Yes, you can, because you see
Yay.
the tracer fire. That will give you advantage.
I want to ask, how far away how many turrets are there?
There's
And-
one center turret, and up on the viewer port, there's 2 standing light machine guns that angle to one side of the airship and to the other side of the airship.
Okay, so which one is Brash at right now? The main
Brash
one?
is in the ball turret underneath the dirigible.
How far away are these planes that are attacking us? Like, how many feet wise?
It's hard to tell. It's so dark with the storm and the rain and the kind of the airship bouncing about. It's hard to tell for sure.
I'm gonna run up to the nearest turret that's not taken, I guess.
Okay, so you run down towards the viewer port stairs. You take that up to the view stanchion. There's a light machine gun on either side of the viewport. You're now watching as something is flying off to your north, something is flying around towards your south, and then yet another plane is flying off towards your west. And they're circling like they're about to make another run.
And I
On the
can't see
airship.
how far they are from me.
Give me a survival check.
Also, if I could, I would like to ask my eye with the network to estimate how far they are.
Yeah, with advantage. Survival with advantage.
Okay, cool. Nice. The advantage really, really, really helped. A natural 20.
Okay. The eye lights up. Suddenly, the darkness fades. You can see the outline of everything around you up to a half mile. And the network falls into your mind and then creates a 3-dimensional holographic display within your mind of everything happening. You could see Calamex chasing one of the airplanes. The other 2 planes are swooping, one off to your right, one off to your left. They're within a couple hundred feet of coming towards the airship. What do you want to do?
A couple hundred?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is gonna be kind of weird, but it's like, so there's a storm.
So
there's rain.
wait. Let's clarify that statement, everybody. You are on an airship after a dragon came into existence. You're fighting the elements of chaos in an alternate timeline. Sure, okay, this is going to be weird. Go ahead.
But it's raining. Like, how is it raining? Like, really hard?
It's storming. Yeah, it's a storm.
Do you think I could possibly like cast Ray of Frost on the rain that's going towards? Like
I'll
kind of
say if you time
freeze
it,
the
when-
rain and turn them into little daggers and just go.
I'll say if you time it right, when the airplane's about to strafe alongside the airship, I'll let you try and pull that off.
Okay, yeah. I want to do that because I have Ray of Frost and it's a cantrip, and I'm like, you know what? It's raining. If we freeze that rain and like make it enlarged and like sharp, and have if it's raining hard and that's all penetrating the window, like,
You wait for a few seconds as the plane begins. The eye has lit up the holographic map, and you see the timing approaching. And as it approaches, you quickly think about the incantation of the energy and the spell, and you flash it out. Go ahead and just give me a good old-fashioned D20 with advantage because the network is helping you.
Oh, okay.
And-
22.
22. And you watch as the ray streaks across the front of the airplane, freezing the prop solid, and you watch as ice shards crash into the canopy of the airplane, and you just watch as it corkscrews, and then off in the distance.
Woo!
McAllen and McAllen, what are you doing? Because Memoris is struggling with the ship. What did you get for your dex check, Memoris?
17.
17. You're managing to compensate for the prop that's stopped, and you're holding it. You've got to keep the aileron pedals down, and you know that if you can just use the wind to buffet that side of the dirigible, but that's about all you can do. You're like focused on stabilizing this airship at this point.
Now, there was 2 engines on the ship, right?
Correct. There's one on the left and one on the right.
And we just lost the left one?
The right one.
The right one.
Which is what's causing you to kind of tilt,
Yeah.
and you're pulling and doing your best to keep it balanced. But you can see there's at least 2 other airplanes out there. You can see the machine gun fire winking. McAllen, what are you doing at this time?
I'm holding up the Pass Without Trace to hopefully give us some a little bit of camouflage, throw them off a bit, and screw it, I'll try and shoot at them.
All right, where are you shooting from?
I'll walk out onto the deck right outside the door.
Okay, walk up onto the viewing stanchion. I promise you in the future, I will have a map of the airship so that we can, give you guys a little bit more immersion. I've just been slammed with work, so. But it's one of those maps I want to build, and I promise you it's coming. You take the stairs up onto the view deck. You can see where Kiki has just cast something in the direction off to the right. You're watching is now another plane. It's beginning to shoot and arc towards your side of the view deck.
Okay.
Now, are you shooting with the light machine gun that's already installed, or are you using something else?
Yeah, I'll use the light machine gun.
You grab it and you point it in the direction. You start firing back. Give me a D20 and add your dex modifier, please.
Okay. That is an 18.
18. You watch as your bullets strafe along part of the motor and the wing. The plane kind of buffets and quickly, but you definitely damaged it. You strafed along its side. Brash, you watch as a plane that just got shot from above corkscrews down and around like it's trying to get away, and it presents itself right to you. Go ahead and give me a D20. Add your dex modifier if you bring the ball turret gun to bear on this plane.
That's a 12.
12. You watch as your rounds stitch across the tail, but it turns, pivots, goes upside down, and kind of gets away from you. Calamex, you're following this other plane, and it's beginning to turn and make its arc towards the airship. Memoris, go ahead and give me a dex check, please. Go ahead, Calamex. What are you doing?
As it does, I'm going to fly underneath it,
Okay.
and I'm going to rip my hand through the airplane. And
Go ahead. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. And you can use the stats of a young adult dragon, please.
Okay.
18 for my dex.
18. Memories, you buff it. You're doing your best to swing the ship back and forth to make it more difficult for the planes that are coming in. And you still manage to maintain control, buffeting the one side. You keep jamming that throttle in hopes that the other engine will come back to life. What'd you get, Calamex?
26.
26 will definitely hit. Go ahead. Now you get multiple attacks. You can take them all at the same time.
That he's going to.
Okay, so roll them all.
26, 27, and 22.
22. All of them. Your body begins to push through the center of the fuselage. Your head arcs through just in time to rip open the canopy, and the individual sees you come up, and you just swallow him whole. The plane is ripped into two pieces. Your eye, Kiki, watches as the transformed Calamex rips the other plane. Brash, you're now seeing that one damaged plane circle back. It's making another arc underneath the ball turret. Go ahead and give me another D20.
Can Kiki hear me say something in the rain? Because
If you say it loud enough, I mean it's a.
I mean, he's roaring.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
you hear him say, "I am Calamex,
I
servant
know!
of his master. Perfection in the sky. This is my world." As he rips the plane apart.
Okay.
Good job.
Now get back over here. What'd you get, Brash?
22.
22. As it goes to come down, all of you feel the bullets strike the side of the dirigible. You jam down on the hammer, Brash, bringing the ball turret up just about the same time. All of you watch as the front of the plane comes apart and just shrapnel smacks the side of the plane onto the viewer's deck. I need Brash, McAllen, and Kiki to make deck saves, please.
Can I use deflect missile attack instead?
I will give you advantage on your deck save then with that.
Right, because I can see you. Take an advantage.
Yes, because you can see it.
Okay, good.
I can see it too, no?
Yeah, but it's a class feature.
Both my rolls were terrible. 12.
I got 13.
12, 13.
18.
18. Brash, you just managed to save. You duck underneath a huge piece of shrapnel that slams into the ball turret. It just sticks through the glass and like within a centimeter of your nose. It's just this big, heavy piece of metal. And it just stops right there. Kiki, you get slammed by shrapnel. McAllen, you get slammed by shrapnel from the plane that just disintegrated. You take 14 points of piercing damage.
Oh no! And we haven't healed from that last shit either. So
No.
God,
Problem.
Suddenly, you guys hear Memoris on the con. I don't see any more. Kiki, the eye is panning. Calamex, you're looking. None of you see any more. But Kiki and Calamex can see the smoke trail coming off the damaged prop, where a piece of metal and something has been peeled away, and it looks like a small explosion took place inside of the prop engine. Only Kiki and Calamex can see the damage. What do you two do?
I fly underneath the ship.
You're now trying to keep pace with the airship underneath.
Well, as soon as I get it, I latch onto it with my claws.
Okay.
And I'm going to put my hand in it and kind of put out all the fire with my hand.
Okay. Give me a dex check. I want to make sure you don't accidentally crush the airship.
No. Imagine. That's 19.
So with that, Brash, as you're in the turret trying to figure out how to move away from this piece of shrapnel that's like centimeters from your face, you just see this big feline dragon face kind of look inside the ball turret, and you feel this dragon latch on, and you watch as Calamex's dragon form is beginning to kind of tool with the engine. So sleight of hand would be dex-based bonus check. So go ahead and give me a dex check with your dex bonus. Yeah, Calamex.
20.
20. You reach into the interior of the housing of the engine and you rip out a piece of like peeled back metal, and it begins to float away. And I know that McAllen and Kiki have that mute problem again, so hopefully they can get it fixed. There was a Windows patch today, folks, so double check your Windows audio settings.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Missed the last 2 minutes of what happened.
I reached my hand in and ripped out a piece that exploded and threw it.
Memoris, you see a green-yellow light begin to flash on the throttle start, and you know from your memory that you took from a recall that means the engine might restart.
Try that thing again.
Slam on the throttle. Calamex, you watch.
I let go. That thing's about to go on.
And just
No, thank you.
remember, if you have both engines back in control, there's no sign of any more planes. The airship now is buffeting in the winds again, and you manage to maintain control. The rest of you can see holes in the sides, but no sign of any more planes. Things seem quiet.
Where do they come from?
Brash is going to begin to gingerly try to slide that piece of shrapnel back out of the little thing.
Yeah, give me athletics check, please.
Can I see where any of the planes have crashed?
Oh, shit. 14.
14. You kind of slice your hand open a bit, taking 2 points of slashing damage, and you manage to jam it out, and you watch as it begins to fall and tumble in the air. Calamex, give me a perception check.
Plus 11. Millions.
Millions.
He rolled a million.
That's a 16 on the dice. Plus 11 is a 27.
27. Yeah, so
11?
you could see a very small flame burning on the ground. The other one that Brash took out had disintegrated, and then you had ripped apart the other one. But you can see one of the ones that crashed in the ground is still burning about maybe 1,000, 2,000 feet below.
Is there anybody floating?
Not
you did
that you can
swallow
see.
one. You did swallow one.
Yeah, no. I know that.
Barf
there any
it
of
back
them-
out when
I mean,
find
you
out
can try to
what happened.
regurgitate them.
No, so
Barf
the
it
guys,
out.
you know how like when an airplane, they hit a parachute and they get
Yeah,
out?
but the development of airplanes is still pretty new, and the idea of parachutes is still pretty new. They may not have been biplanes, but they were barely, basic forms of single winged planes.
So these are like the original aircraft.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
original
that's-
like jet planes that used to do in firefights.
Well, from an old school perspective, these are not like the World War II ones yet. This is pre.
World War One.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Can I fly down to it, see if the guy survived?
Kiki, your holographic image is still up. You watch as the form of Calamex flies and arcs down towards the ground. With that same perception check, Calamex, the entire airplane is just a smoldering ruin. There is a partial, upper torso, no lower torso, or no lower appendage, but somebody has crawled out. Their arm is disfigured, their head is crushed in, and there's a dead form lying there on the ground.
Right.
But there's another person crawling.
No, this looks like somebody had crawled out and then died,
Oh, cool.
and their
I'm gonna
lower
fly
half
down
is
to him.
missing.
Cool. I'm gonna fly down to him,
You land.
and my first thing, I stare down the body and I yell at it in Draconic. Speak to me.
Nothing happens. It's just
Where's Rachel?
No, I cast speak to it.
oh, you cast speak with dead at that moment.
Ooh, nice.
You watch as the dead form rolls over. Who sent you? Those that want you dead. Where did you come from? Suttonville. How many more are you? We are all. We are everyone. We are the truth. We are the keepers. And it just falls silent.
I crush the body and I fly to Sutton because I'm an enraged mad.
Yeah.
Enraged madman.
You begin to course in the direction of Sutton. Memoris, give me a survival check as you check your compass bearings and the map that's on the panel. Kiki and McAllen, you're still up on the viewer deck. Brash, you're crawling out of the cupola at this time, and you close the door behind you.
17.
Take the bloody
17.
hand and just kind of like do this number on my shirt, on my already now basically ruined dress. Just like,
Yeah. You're in the main hallway. You can hear people walking above you. Memoris, you look at the compass bearing and you make some adjustments, and you're now drifting in the direction of Sutton. And then off in the distance, you can see.
I corkscrew up in the air and catch up with the dirigible.
Okay.
And I catch onto the side and look over with my head.
Okay.
The village that's in the mountains that I got told about by the Aarakocra.
Yeah. Well, that's up in the mesas.
Yes.
So
Which isn't far from here. I believe.
That is north of Hayward.
Yes. The Standing Fist Apaches.
Correct.
I'll look at Memoris and say, go to the mesas. Sutton is death. And I fall off.
I just like through the communication. McAllen, can I get you up here?
I'll go back to the.
You come back downstairs from the viewer's deck, and you're in the hallway. There's a very bloody Brash kind of leaning up against the wall, kind of doing her best to kind of staunch her wounds.
what are we doing?
I don't know.
She just kind of sits on the floor
So, I'm assuming that was most likely Calamex.
Look like the same dragon, just smaller.
Yeah, but he didn't see you transform, so he's kind of like, I just saw the dude in here, then he's out there. So he's assuming, but he's not 100% sure. But Dragon said where we're heading to is death. He wants us to head to, I don't even think I was, Mason?
The Mesa.
Mesa.
The Mesas.
And I don't even, did you even tell us that? Because I don't think we were there where you were discussing with the air.
I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
I just said head to the Mesas. That's it.
I'll pull out the map and start trying to chart a course for us.
I know the Mesas are close enough to Hayward that Sutton and Hayward could be where the Mesas is walking distance at least, or flying distance, because of the Aarakocra.
Right, and you do remember that the particular mesa is called the Vera Flats.
Okay, I would have told them that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Yeah, the dragon's still headed to Sutton though. That's
okay,
still a thing.
okay, Calamex, you're still making your way towards Sutton.
Okay. Is there any way I could put this on autopilot in the storm, or am I gonna have to fly it myself?
Give me an intelligence check.
15.
15. You could probably put it on the manual setting for the next 10 or 15 minutes before you have to come back and readjust.
Okay. I'll put it on that, and then I just want to go check all the damage dealt to the ship. That way I know like what exactly we're working with right now.
Okay. So you set it to manual and you set the armature in place to keep it in this kind of gradual drifting motion in the direction of Vera Flat up in the mesas north of Hayward. And you get up really quick. You can see that both Brash and Kiki are pretty injured and kind of in the main hallway. McAllen, what are you doing? You watch as Memoris is now beginning to try to examine the condition of the airship.
So I'm charting the course to find out where we need to go.
Okay.
And then
Did you give me a survival check yet?
No.
Go ahead and give it to me with advantage because you do know how the compass works now.
It's 19.
19. You begin to chart a course, and you find your way. Looking at the maps, you begin to use the stylus and the ink pen and the measuring indicator, and you're maybe an hour away from Vera Flat. Members, give me investigation.
23.
23. There are a series of bullet holes along the port and aft sides of the airship. Nothing major. There's some pneumatic damage and wiring harness damage. Some of the lights keep flickering on and off. You can feel wind coming through some areas that need to be patched. Looking at the view report, you can see that there's still a small trail of smoke coming from one of the prop engines. You also noticed a very thin, cool, like a small, thin thing of gas leaking from top side of the airship. You get the feeling that maybe the bladder has been punctured at some point, but it looks like it's a very small leak. You can see all manner of kind of like superficial damage, mostly all on the port side of the vessel. You begin to take account and you look into the ball turret gun underneath the airship, and it's heavily damaged. It's difficult for it to maneuver and turn. There's a large hole in the plexiglass, so there's a whistling wind kind of coming up and inside into the main hallway. The ship looks a little rough. There's damage, but
It'll fly.
it'll fly.
Okay.
That's
Hmm.
what matters.
Okay. So as for Brash and Kiki, gonna go up to both of them. First level healing words for both of them, just so they're at the very least have something instead of just sitting there with nothing.
Well, Brash was gonna go find like a bandage or something and try to do her best.
You watch as Brash is like using like a Rambo thread kit to close her wounds.
Well, I mean,
That'll
she's
be
her own clothes, so she's like using
That'll
her own
be-
clothes needle. Not at all hygienic.
7 for both of them actually.
Okay, you both get 7 hit points back.
Thank you,
And
Limericks.
then I'm gonna head right back to the navigation area to
Can I
pick up the
start
manual.
patching up the ship?
Yeah, I'll say the network can help you with that. Go ahead and give me a performance check with advantage, because you have the network kind of giving you a holographic display in your mind of the damage that you think
Again,
you
I'm
might be able
glad
to.
that I got advantage. 19.
19, yeah. You remember Calamix pointing out where all the damage control materials are? So for the next hour, you're now patching holes. You're doing a lot of the superficial repair that you kind of have a general skill for. McAllen and Brash, Memoris, you have to go back and continue piloting after reporting on the damage. McAllen, you finished navigating the chart. You hand that off to Memoris. Memoris, you're now making adjustments towards Vera Flats. So Brash and McAllen, what are you going to do for the next hour at this point?
I'm gonna head down to the cargo bay and look for materials to help repair the holes in the hull of the aircraft.
Okay. Brash, what are you doing with your hour?
Brash is probably just gonna kind of meander around and clean up, because I know she already left the med bay a little bit messy from all the stuff that fell out. So she's like just going from area to area, going like, "Oh, this fell out. Let me put that back." And half the stuff is probably not back where it's supposed to be.
That's what I was waiting
But-
for.
It's like just shoved.
But at least
into
it's off the
half
ground
it,
and
you know,
shoved back up into the
Out of
cabinetry.
sight, out of mind.
toddler
Yeah.
shoved
Imagine,
into
like,
the
or
box.
just
You can't see it, so
shoving
it's
it
fixed,
and like
right?
holding it and then like closing it.
I've done
All right, that's
We're just
better.
like, okay, it stayed. As long as nobody touches that, we're fine. It's yeah. She's like, she walks out of the med bay when after she does it. She goes, "Oh, Calamix isn't gonna like that," and then she just goes to the next room and does the same thing.
Fair enough. And I'll say, McAllen, you have a pretty industrious mind for some basic electronics, and you're looking down at your legs, and you're like, yeah, I got this. And you start finding gearworks and wire harnesses. And you begin to do your best to kind of work on those damaged points. Go ahead and give me a performance check as well.
Performance. 10.
10. I mean, not bad, not great. You spend the next hour doing your best to fix wiring harnesses and everything that's going on. And for the next hour, Memoris is steering the ship in the direction of Vera Flats. Calamex, you close the distance rather swiftly. That 3-mile gap falls away in like 5-10 minutes. And you're now hovering over a rain-sodden looking ruined landscape. There is the remnants of a town that you can see from your distance up where you are. But you see, your passive would be good enough and you're well hidden enough by the remnants of the storm. You see at least half a dozen trucks kind of doing patrol-like circles out and about. And at certain points on the perimeter of Sutton, you see those familiar things that you saw at the front lines down in the front lines of Mexico and New Mexico along the Texas border. They called them tanks. You can see at least 4 of those pre-positioned. What catches your eye is a small airfield with about a dozen planes pulled off onto the tarmac. And there's dozens upon dozens of individuals moving across in and out of buildings, but not in a hurried fashion. At this point, no one knows you're there.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do. The first thing I do is I get as small as I can, and I basically dive bomb to where I know all the planes are, and I'm going to dragon breath all the planes.
As you begin to dive bomb towards the direction, give me an intelligence save, please.
Oh, I'm fine.
As you pass through the psychic barrier, everything around you goes silent, and the landscape changes. You see these huge elongated tentacles just kind of floating nearby. You can see these great crevasses that have been shattered and opened. The illusion of the town doesn't fool you. There is something else here. There is a swirling mass of energy below you, and you watch as a hand.
Oh, hell no. I immediately break.
You like bank up and you like break back through the barrier. And as you look back, that same illusion is left behind you. And you're like coursing back up into the storm.
No. Just no. Just no.
It's like, I got this. Oh, hell no.
Oh, no,
Giant
that hand, the hand looked the exact same thing that I saw during the explosion.
Yes.
That's why.
Ugh.
Yeah, no. I
From back in
from
back in Finville, yeah.
Yeah. I corkscrew and fly back because I see this and I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, it doesn't take you very long. About 15 minutes later, you're now flying alongside the dirigible. Eventually, both of you make your way out of the fringes of the storm that is quickly passing by behind you. Looking down, you can see the great mesa plateaus spread out in all manner of different direction. And you can see campfires on the very tops of the plateaus begin to wink into existence. You sense a small form flying alongside you.
I look at it.
It's an Aarakocra.
I turn and I stop
Person.
and I like hover and stare at it.
It just sits there by your head and your face. It just kind of nods at you.
Person.
It takes
Just on the
its
top. That's
takes its bird wing and kind of points towards one of the larger mesa flats, and then dives towards it.
I kind of make a look at Memoris and I say in Draconic to him,
I
follow
do not
me.
know a Draconic.
One of you do. I know it.
I don't. That's one of the languages I do
I
not know.
don't think anyone does, dude.
Nope. I almost went
let's
with it,
see.
and then I was like, nah, she wouldn't be smart enough for that.
Yeah, it's fine. He says in Draconic, "Follow me," and just turns around and flies. Because he
You
would have said
watch
the other thing
Memoris
in Draconic
as
too.
Kalamik speaks strangely to you, but immediately dives very purposely towards one of the larger flat stones of mesas where a good grouping of campfires are currently being lit.
I look at McCown like, do we follow him? Do we keep going? What
I
do
feel like we would follow him regardless. No,
Well, we have no reason not to.
I feel like we would follow him. Regardless.
Following him it is.
Yeah.
The airship begins to decline in the direction of the flat point. It's at that point you see about a dozen Aarakocra kind of fly on either side of the airship. They are all carrying cables, and you watch as they help you kind of guide your way down to a landing point.
So they're helping us. Can you describe what they look like?
Aarakocra are the eagle people,
Like bird person from Rick
like
and
bird
Morty?
person. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
like
it's-
full bird,
No,
not
look at,
just bird person.
just
Full
Yeah.
bird.
Okay.
It's the person that you guys were talking to back in Hayward.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Same thing. Except I'm not sure that guy actually survived. So.
Yeah, that's a question I rolled for, and we'll resolve that later. The airship kind of hovers and then lands. Dozens of different individuals begin to lash the base of the ship down to the flat of the stone. You can see where they're not really used to whatever this is, but they've obviously dealt with an airship before, and they lash it down to heavy stones, outcrops of mesa stones on either side. Off in the distance, you can hear kind of like drum beats, and there's now maybe 2 or 3 dozen individuals kind of gathering near the exit point of the pilot portion of the airship. All of you watch as the large form of Calamix lands nearby.
I'll change back with the dragon form, the half dragon form.
You're about 10 feet on the outside exterior of the airship. McCallan slides open the door.
Come in, friend.
The Aarakocra just kind of bends underneath the stanchion, looks at you, Calamix, curiously. Who are you? Why are you here?
I'll say to him, well, we've...
I was talking about Calmex.
Yeah, but Calamex isn't saying anything, so I'm going to say something.
Okay.
He isn't. Well, he's not there yet.
Well, you're
I just
nearby.
landed.
Yeah, you're nearby. Who are you?
I loom up behind him.
Oh. What are you? And he stares at you and kind of moves away from you.
Me or Mikhail?
Yeah, to Calamex.
I am old. One of your people, the one that lived in Hayward or worked in Hayward, he told us to come here. I'm not sure he's alive.
What? I am Alvarax, leader of our people. Oh.
I give Alborax the same things I gave the other guy, and I say, I have a crime that I have committed against you and your people.
Oh. Alvarax is in Hayward. Oh, I am Python. I lead our clan. What crime do you commit? You know, you can see some of the Apache are forming up behind him, rifles kind of slung over their shoulders, wearing a mix of modern and traditional garb.
He falls to his knees and I destroyed the city of Hayward.
Oh. Are you speaking in common?
Yes,
Oh, why is such a blight a crime?
because your people was your Alvarix was there.
No. He points. He watches an Aarakocra lands. A little bit of fringe of char is on his feathers as he lands. Oh, I am here. Pardon. I sent these people to us. Help us help them. You watch as this huge figure of a man kind of walks out of the crowd. You will have to excuse our friends. Please, come with us. We shall eat, and we shall discuss your situation.
Does the dirigible have like a coffee machine out of curiosity?
I mean,
It does.
in 1927, it's basically a rudimentary kind of big filter.
Steam pot.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
He would have
basically
like as he would have came off, he would have like just ignoring everything that basically
like a
fell out
percolator,
and
one
all
of those
that
big
stuff.
giant percolators.
He would have just made a cup of coffee, and it would be like 50% coffee, 50% whiskey.
Yeah, that sounds about right for someone that's going through trauma.
And he just has the coffee mug with them, just like listening to all this, just drinking it every so often.
Ash just kind of looks at it and goes, "What's that?"
The stuff that's getting me through these events.
Can I have some?
I
I mean,
I look at McAllen as this happens, and I look at him, and my face kind of goes white, even under my scales. My face goes white, and I say, "Remember the thing that came out of Finville?
I do recall.
It's in Sutton.
Are you sure it's the same one?
Look at me. It's in Sutton."
Right.
But how?
It's got control of Black Box 1.
Well,
There's a whole military contingent protecting it, and there's an illusion around the city.
that would explain some things for sure.
We need to get in contact with the Unity Council yesterday.
I very much agree. If we get everything taken care of here, let's convene with our friends and try and get Miss Brown on the radio.
We still have one day to get to the thing, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Like, do we even
The
care about
hatchery
the
is
thing
to
at
the
this
north
point?
of you. The remains of Hayward to the south. Sutton to the south of Hayward. This is a bevel of activity around you.
Can I ask the person that's in my head a question?
I was wondering when you were going to speak to me. I've been here for some time. That was an interesting thing that you did. Can you maybe expand on that later? I witnessed some memories that I found very disturbing. I'm hoping that you are okay. Are you okay?
No.
I will not pry. When you are ready to speak of it, I will expect a conversation.
Okay. A question on my end to you. You are a man who has taken an oath.
Duh. Hey, somebody has the Twitch on too loud.
Yeah,
I can hear the echo.
Yeah.
I don't have that up.
I don't think any of us have it on.
I didn't think so either. That's weird. Let me double check. Sometimes I leave tabs open without.
It's all your fault, Jason.
No, you know what? It might actually be this audio playback. Let me switch to a different one.
He asks, "You're a man that's made oaths. Have I broken mine?"
Oaths are a tricky thing. They are not necessarily promises to be kept, but words to remember. You are still remaking yourself, are you not?
Yes.
Then you are undoing yourself on a regular basis. How is one expected to ever keep a word or a promise? Each time you undo, you become something else. A memory? A physical representation of something that you have yet to discover?
The flashes of the old man who looks exactly like Calamex, just older. Just keep
Clearly
appearing.
this individual has shaped your mind and you are unshaping it.
To what end?
Who says it's an end? Perhaps it's just a beginning.
For what? More things like Hayward to happen?
Perhaps we shall take some time to study one's control over such things. As you gain in power, certainly we can try to help you with your control.
He just makes a mental acknowledgement. And he says, feel free to ask questions. I need something else to think of when you have the time.
Certainly.
He follows McAllen and the rest. To
Okay.
I guess these people, they invited us to eat food.
Eventually, you begin to realize you're walking through ceremonial circles. You're walking through small groups of individuals that have built sweat lodges. All manner of them are on this flat. It's huge. It's a large mesa. Every now and then you watch as either an Aarakocra or a Apache, an indigenous individual, kind of pulls themselves out of the sweat lodge and looks, and these looks kind of follow you as you make your way towards the very center of this large structure made of animal skins and natural wood and other things that make things up. As one by one you approach this space, the large individual that had invited you here throws open the flap and points to the interior. A great kind of like steam billows out. And you watch as he takes off his clothes and dips inside. You watch as the two Aarakocra that were traveling with you do the same thing and dip inside. And then you hear a voice, bring in only what you feel you need.
Calamex gets completely undressed.
That's what Bash is like. Do we? She's like not saying anything, but she's like, how? She's like,
I just get completely undressed and I put everything in my bag.
Okay.
And leave my bag outside.
Wait,
And then you watch
asked
Calamex
everyone to do this?
dip inside.
Oh, I have no shame.
Is there like an area where like you just get aside and
We're all
get
just gonna
in
be
there?
like,
Or is this just like nothing like
Great, these are so annoying. Like,
Yeah, Kiki's like, and then dips inside. Brash, I mean, you're wearing clothes mostly to fit in anyways. I mean, you know, when you're in your tabaxi form out traveling without other travelers, I mean, you walk, you talk the talk and walk the walk.
yeah, Brash will just kind of drop everything. The only thing she'll like keep with her is she'll keep her drum with her, just kind of like under one arm.
Okay.
And walk inside.
Okay. McAllen?
I'm keeping my loincloth on.
Fair
Gotta
enough.
protect the small bits.
Okay. You then find yourself
small bits.
inside
bits?
as well. Memoris, what are you doing?
so is this like a sweat lodge or is this more like you go in and then like there's a pool of water?
There's just billowing steam coming out with the flap open. The others have all come inside. You see nothing in the interior whatsoever.
If you know about indigenous people at all, When they went to go speak to each other, they used to use lodges, and to keep everyone honest, they kept burning coals in water, and then you would speak to each other inside a small contained space.
Yeah, I keep everything on.
You keep everything on? You come inside, and all of you now are inside this space. And the first thing you notice is a sense of your feet don't quite seem to touch anything. The steam that's boiling up and around you is coming through and out of the floor itself. Or is it floor? It's hard to tell. In the very center of the space, this very large, unnaturally large space all around you. You kind of reach out for the side. There's no side to touch.
Bigger on the inside.
Harry Potter.
I was thinking Doctor Who.
Yeah, me too.
Well, if our magic is
Oh, yeah,
real,
oh,
then
yeah,
Apache magic is definitely real now.
As all of you one by one find your
Oh
way.
my god, are they lycanthrope? Oh no.
You you watch as the two Aarakocra are sitting on the ground, leaning back on elbows, just staring at you all as you collect in the center of the space. The large stands with fists, sits as well on one side, and he points towards the ground. And it's at this point the five of you stare at the bright light. Go ahead and give me perception checks really quick.
Regular perception.
Not good.
No.
Nat 20
Okay.
plus 8, so 28.
12.
23.
11.
7.
Not great, but there's a couple that kind of balance things out. As each of you sit down in place staring at this bright reddish light, this hue, there's a steady coming from this light, and it pulses with a rhythmic kind of heartbeat, and then this bellowing energy of steam. All of you get the immediate effect of a long rest.
Ooh.
Thank God,
Been needing
finally.
that for a bit.
Oh my gosh, we were dying for like the last 3 sessions. Like,
That is
It's a pretty fast pace.
I literally had 2 spell slots left.
Same.
I've been hovering between like a quarter and dead for a little bit. For like
It's okay. I definitely
had,
kept people alive
I
until
had-
I got off. Until I went off the deep end, I kept everyone
I
alive.
had 3
Yep.
H's.
this is very true. But yay!
And I don't know if I'm ever going to get back to that state of I was protecting everyone, keeping everyone alive.
As you sit down one by one and feel this force just course through your veins and your muscle, you watch as wounds stitch closed, pains ease, aches go away, memories restored, calm, confidence kind of just rolls off of you as you're like, as you sit, am I sitting on anything? There's no real nature or sense of surface. There is just energy and power and calm emanating from this space. Now, we will speak. Why have you come to my home? And why do you bring so much with
Why do you bring what?
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 You just went real.
Why do you
Why do you bring so much with you?
We didn't bring that much stuff.
We bring a whole dirigible.
We basically bring an airplane with us.
And a lot of sadness.
That's our vehicle.
He like holds up his hand and looks at Brash. Much sadness you bring.
Oh.
Much concern.
Oh, that was said out of
Anger.
I'm sorry.
Much
Okay.
of what we despair of here. Calm your minds. Calm your nerves. Breathe deep.
He
You will
breathes.
never be anywhere more safer than here.
Calamex finally breathes out like that tension he had, and you guys see that green silver smoke that comes out of his nose
They're gonna say
before?
snot.
No, it's it's the same color as his dragon breath.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
just coming
You,
out of
like,
his nose.
See the greens. I thought you were gonna say snot.
No.
Okay, carry on.
He's done the
Rash
same thing
legitimately
before
thinks it's
on
not for a
McCown.
second.
That's how he casts healing word. Is
Word.
that
Yeah.
the breath comes out of his nose.
You have done us a service. For this, we are grateful.
What?
That abomination called Hayward.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool.
Well, you can think.
In our
That-
defense, they shot first, so like.
Was a place of the beast keepers, the truth
Okay.
seekers,
See,
the true
Calvin,
believers.
you didn't have to feel so bad. Like it's okay.
He just shoots you a look.
You can forgive yourself. I'm serious.
I don't think he wants to hear.
As many as there were bad, there were good. Women, children, families.
Even evil spawns from seedlings. Perhaps not all things are even as you think. What do you know of the beast keepers?
Beast keepers,
Nothing.
huh? I don't think we know anything. Why don't you tell us?
Can I try a history check?
Yeah, Memoris, you can go for it.
A beast keeper? I don't
I
know.
don't think that's something I would have heard of.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Ooh, there it is. There's that nat one I was waiting for.
Hey!
I was like, I've been rolling good all night. Here, where is this
I
coming?
guess I'm going to ask my network. You know the history of some beast keepers? It's foreign to me.
There's just static in your mind.
Okay, never
Oh.
Can I
mind.
roll a history check?
Memoris, take 2d4 madness dice.
Oh,
That would put me at
gosh.
3.
You already have 3?
No, I already have 1. That would
Oh, you
put
have
me at
1.
Oh,
So now you have 3. But you're not in a situation that you've been triggered by madness yet. So now you have 3.
3. Amazing.
Can I roll history for that? For the
That's a
beast
10.
keepers?
If that matters, but
No, you just hold on to them. You don't roll them yet.
oh no. For the nat 1, I have a +9.
Oh, for history?
I
No,
don't know.
you've never heard of anything called the Beast Keepers before.
okay.
For those of you that don't originate from Terran, you wouldn't know either. If you're an other from the other side, unfortunately for you, Kiki, you've lost track of the network. There's just static, no response. The eye almost kind of like semi shuts down in this space.
Okay.
Signal's awful in this place.
Yeah, it's bad signal.
Yeah.
Bad signal.
That is pretty bad.
This place is old. Older than most understand.
How
For
old?
millennia, my people have kept it safe, kept the door shut. Through our lore and our stories and our oral histories, we've passed it down for millennia. Then they came, drove us from our lands, persecuted us, nearly drive us to enslavement and
I'm sorry.
extinction.
That sucks.
But we keep our oath. He kind of looks very directly at Calamex when he says that. And we keep our word. I do not understand the world that you come from. And I will not pretend to understand as well. But the gate has been opened. Someone with the understanding of our old world has severed the anchor. They have severed what has been closed for thousands of years. And he kind of stops, he kind of stands up to his full height. He brings his hands out over the burning ember. And he gives it a flourish, and you watch as an illusion begins to hover over the space. A great creature with massive arms and hands, tentacles flailing out from its face, aquatic-looking eyes splayed back, its form so massive there's no sense of depth. I know, I'm thinking of what's his name from
Dr. Zoidberg?
Yeah, Dr. Zoidberg.
Barbosa?
No,
No,
Dr.
Zoidberg.
Zoidberg.
From Futurama.
You watch as this huge form as it moves and shifts. Chaos.
What color is he? Is he pink?
No, he's green.
Nice.
Like
It's
white
just-
Like
people?
a brownish color.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just an emanating glow of the extension of the ember that's kind of floating right there. And the Beast Keepers, an organization bent on bringing this back into our world. And then he changes the illusion.
No, wait, what was that?
And for you, Calimex, you watch as another illusion appears, similar to the one that you saw in Sutton.
What does it
Yeah.
look like now?
They craft their works. Here, they summon this creature through chaos and death.
We've seen it before.
He sits back down, leans back. I know. I know your visions. I know where you've been. Unfortunately, I do not know where you go. As I stare off into a future, I see nothing. Just darkness, pain, loss. The world is being undone. And with it, the universe.
Can you
Whatever is
describe
coming
what-
through in that town must be stopped. You will stop it. And he leans forward, pulses the ember, and more steam kind of billows out. And he leans back and he just stares at all five of you.
Okay, but what is it? And like, is it big? Because I can usually do things that are like close to my size, but big usually becomes a problem.
I put my hand on Brash's shoulder.
What?
I look at you and I say, it's bigger than the buildings that they craft in the big cities.
Like the really, really big ones?
Yes, the ones that
Or
touch the
as
sky.
small.
Oh, I don't want to touch that.
Or as small as the energy that takes your soul.
Wait, so what form does he take right now? Like, what are we looking at?
He takes many forms.
No,
He
you.
takes no form. He is a thought. He is an idea. He is chaos.
We need to get in contact with the Union or the Unity Council.
Unity Council, right? Sir, do you know about? Are you well acquainted with the Unity Council and Thomas Edison?
He leans forward and pulses the ember again. There are many that seek their own form of truth. Your hair, Kiki, kills me.
What are you? What?
Well, the problem is that that creature has taken control of a government agency that has very, very powerful strings. And without our powerful string, no contact with them, we do not have the power to stop it.
You only bring in what you need. He leans forward. Another puff of steam goes outward. He looks over in Memris's direction. You do not need those. He holds out his hand, and you guys watch his trail of blue begins to just leak out of the mind of Memris.
Whoa,
And you watch
members, what the fuck?
these tendrils of energy begin to swirl, and
What was that?
remember, it's the last year of your memory collections have just been wiped out.
Oh,
Whoa.
shit.
Fair enough.
He's like, well,
Fair enough. I suppose that is fair.
Whoa, that's a lot. 1 year, a lot can happen in a year. Huh.
The three just stare at you, their eyes never shifting, never bending, Body stock still.
Did you do something bad?
The great ancestral tattoos all over Standing Fist's body. Just leans and stares.
Kind of. He looks over at I forgot its name again. The one with the A.
Avarex.
Avarex. I look over at Avarex.
I butchered its name.
And
That's not what I wrote
I
down.
look over at him and I kind of I stand up and I walk towards him.
Avarex's head just tilts and looks up at you as you walk.
I kind of kneel and I bow my head and I apologize to you. You almost got consumed by my rage.
Oh. Your rage? Oh, someone else's rage.
The rage that is contained within me.
Oh. Contained no more. But out it is.
You are right. It is no longer contained. But it is mine.
Ten Bear stands up, looks between you and Avarex, stares over at Brash. The one they call Brash. Stand.
Brash just kind of pops up. Am I in trouble?
Would you like to be in trouble?
No?
Then you are not in trouble.
Okay.
And his large, 7-foot form, which is pretty large for a Terran, and unusually large for most indigenous that populate this area. And he kind of moves past you, and you kind of move slightly off to the right, and you watch as he jams his hand down into the glowing hot ember.
Ouch.
And then he pulls it out. And when he pulls it out, his hand is skeletal, and everything is seared down to his elbow.
Oh, that's not good.
The unity watches all. The unity is not something that merely exists in one space. He plunges it into your chest. You feel his hand circle your heart and squeeze it out of existence. And I give you our bravest soldier,
Oh.
our keeper of the light, our keeper of the flame. He will guide you. He will show you the path. He pulls his hand out of your chest. Everything stitches shut, and you hear.
Brash just kind of crouches on the floor. Her ears are just straight back. She just goes, "What the fuck?"
There's a voice in your head.
Who'd you get?
Never show weakness in battle.
Brash just kind of covers her ears. What?
Never see them. Never let them see you lament. Even at death's door, you never stop.
Who do you think it is?
This is the word of Geronimo. This is the word of the Keeper. This is the word of the Flame Giver. I will never allow you to fall. And the voice just kind of fades. The other one.
Geronimo.
Okay.
There is flame in Standing Fist's hand. The one called Memoris. I told you you did not need these. And he takes his other hand, jams it into the heart. The skin and flesh peel back once again. And he fuses the two of them together. He grabs onto Memoris's chest, pulls him forward, Jams his hand into his stomach and up, and squeezes your heart.
Oh,
Man, Brash, you got a super cool one.
The unity
Okay, I'm gonna
has
send you
been
this.
around for millennium. Since the
He's gonna get so
eternity
tired
of
every
time. The unity is not owned by one, but is the heart of all those that don't give up. Pulls out his hand. Intelligence, cunning, diplomacy. He saw this coming long before. He is our eye, our understanding of faith, and our understanding of who we once were. We may not have shared in our understanding of our peoples at all times, but I give you the future of our people. I give you what you need. And he kind of walks slowly away from you, Memoris. And you hear a voice in your head. Cunning, he says. Patience, I say. Study your enemy. Focus on their weakness, their simplicity, their lies. Give away their unsaid truths. Their deceptions have no standing amongst those. I am Sitting Bull. I will guide you to the center of the universe. I will show you places that your eye has never seen. And the voice just fades into the background. All of you feel and hear a familiar voice step out of the cloistered cloud that's billowing about. As you can see, we have many fingers and many pies. We
do I know
understand your frustration, and we understand your concern. Your friends in Stanton are safe. We will make sure nothing ever happens to them. We have brought you here for good cause and a good reason. He will rise. He will sunder this earth, and he will sunder what we have made here. All of the illusions and delusions around you are his masterworks playing out. And he is an artist of profound chaos. We believe he is the source of the inevitable death of Coolidge. We believe that this is a domino that will fall again and again. This is the appropriate target for you and yours. Do not know how you will get in. Do not know how you will get out. But saving everything for the sense of hope and the requirement of life is all that matters. The unity has kept this together for so long that the door has become brittle, the oaths non-functioning. And that is where the Descendants come in. That is where their sacrifice to close this door is required. No, that yes, we send you to danger, but we need you.
Question. So, what should our next step be? What should we do?
Calm your mind, Kikili.
Oh, I'm so calm right now.
Take a moment. Take a breath. Your planet does not miss you. You will not.
The concept of missing is not. It's not. It's a human thing.
You will not detonate. I can assure you.
Oh, thank you.
Are we hearing this part?
Oh yeah.
Brash's eyes are as big as plates.
Your planet will not miss you. I'm like, yeah, I know. They don't miss people. We don't. That was something I had to learn. I was like, what's this missing thing?
Brash just had a
All
lot
of you,
happen in,
one
like,
by
2 minutes.
one, drift off to sleep.
Oh,
Whether this is
no.
memory or dream, it's hard to know for sure. But all of you wake up the following morning inside of small, kind of like lodges and buildings and small natural made structures.
What a beautiful natural made structure. Wow.
Brash just kind of wakes
So
up.
let's go ahead and level up, folks.
Yeah.
As
Finally.
finding the Vera flats and having the encounter with Standing Fists was a
I've
milestone.
been level 6 forever.
Now we do things a little differently, and we're going to finish a little early tonight because I got to get home to Callista. We have very sick dogs, and I want to get. They all have parvo, so I know she's 7 months pregnant, and she's taking care of dogs with parvo. She's an absolute monster. I love her so much. But we level up very uniquely. We go one by one, and you can either take a traditional class level up if you choose to, or you could describe for me something that you feel over the recent journey that you've learned well, and we design a skill in mind for that. And then you merely apply it to your skill base and you utilize it in the future. So McAllen, to help Memoris and Brash understand how this works, let's start with you this time. The journey you've been on so far, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, at this point, like with everything else that's been kind of going on, McAllen's just trying to become more well-rounded. He realizes that he has a lot of shortcomings that were not as much apparent in his regular cases. So he's just trying to become more well-rounded in all of his skills.
Okay, so you're looking at an ability change, maybe?
Yeah, or something that's gonna help not roll so crappily.
Also crappy.
Get advantage for everything.
Everything.
One thing you've begun to realize, what you've learned over time, is you're learning how to manage your new legs and realizing that this augmentation may have altered your sense of balance, and maybe this has played in to this challenge. We'll say that at some point and over this journey, Calamix has worked on your legs and worked on reestablishing that balance. And you now begin to realize that this has been the shortcoming that you've been concerned about. You just haven't taken the time to truly understand this new form, what that you've become. This augmentation takes away your naturalness as well as plunges you into a new world of Mechanicus. Calamix finds the appropriate equipment, does the tinkering, and you now have advantage on ranged shots.
They won't be shooting people anymore. They were not trying to.
Calamix, what are your thoughts? What has this journey kind of brought to you at this point?
He's realized that he's the last Worm Lord. He's the last dragon of true standing. He's also realized that there are other dragons that he now has to protect in this world so that his race can live on, truly. But that there's an unsealed rage within him that he has yet to hold, that he is yet to be able to grasp and take hold of. As much as he likes taking care of his friends, he needs to embrace that draconic aspect of him again. He needs to become the Worm Lord again and actually accept his true form, not only in rage, but in peace.
Peaceful Worm Lord.
Getting
he's
that
gonna
under
go for an
control.
ability.
Yeah, getting that under control means you may have to give up some things. Your advantages with your medical equipment kind of slip from your mind as you begin to step away from your sense of Hippocratic oath, your duty, your understanding of the medical needs. And those roles will be normal from now on. Not with disadvantage, just normal rolls. However, once per 7 days, you can attempt to transform into your Wormlord self and then practice the art of controlling it, giving you advantage on charisma saves, giving you resistance to psychic damage.
Nice, nice.
And you are
Sid,
now-
charisma. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Charisma.
And you're now immune to the stunned effect.
So I had advantage on charisma. I have something else, and then immune to.
You have resistance to psychic damage, and you're immune to stunned effect. And once per 7 days, you can attempt to transform and control your Wormlord self.
Okay.
So
I
everybody's
lose,
level.
and I
You're
lose,
all gonna, still level up from a traditional level 7 hit points and all that. We're just giving you the option of either making a skill or picking one off your class base. It's totally up to you.
So
Kiki.
I lose diagnosis. That's what it was.
Correct.
Yeah, here.
Kiki, a solid hour goes by as the network downloads everything that you've been experiencing over the last week.
Yeah.
Not even a solid week at this point. Maybe 5-6 days.
Okay.
And your journey has brought you to this point. The network whispers in your ear, Mistress, we are ready to accommodate your need. Please provide us with the informational upload you require.
That's a lot. I was gonna ask about merging better with Ragnar, but I don't think they can do that.
We can increase the ability of your synapses. We can
Yes?
allow you to connect with your descendant more efficiently at will.
Yeah, that would be great because I did one time like tap into his power and he was able to help me and it was very, very useful. I feel like
You feel synapses, sparks, and what is this? Your arm comes up.
Am I super buff now?
Your other arm comes up. You didn't mean to move your arms, and you hear
Okay.
Ragnar's
Super buff and
voice.
there's hair on my arms, huh?
Ragnar's like, I can move you.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh!
Like
He's like-
Ratatouille?
He's like, am I puppet or puppet master? This makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And you watch as he has you lean down and pick up a rock, and you now have advantage on strength checks and strength saves, and you gain you are now up to 2 attacks per action.
Oh, that's awesome. 2 attacks per. Does that include 2 spells?
No, you can never concurrently cast 2 spells. It's either
So I could
A
do a spell
spell-
and like punch somebody.
correct,
Okay, cool.
or you can do a spell and a cantrip if a cantrip is an action.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry. You have 1 action, but during that action you can make 2 attacks. So yes, you could do either a spell attack or a melee, or 2 melee attacks, a spell and a cantrip. So yes, you have 2 attacks per action.
Cool. Awesome.
Advantage on strength saves and advantage on strength checks,
Got it. Awesome.
as you are synaptically bound deeper into Lothbrok's.
Ragnar.
Yeah, Ragnar. I always say Rothgar. Ragnar's mental awareness, and you are now in tune slightly more with his memory as a descendant.
Okay. Cool.
So, Brash, your journey up to this point.
I unless I've missed something, we're on day 3 of me being involved with this group, like
Yeah.
in character, and this has been a lot, especially within like right before nap time. But Brash is a little overwhelmed by a lot of this, really, because having been someone who's been just traveling by herself for a little bit, she's been in and out with like different groups and stuff, but this is a lot to kind of process that's happened to her all in a moment. And the weird heart thing made her go, "Oh, I'm in deep now." So I don't know what would I'm not sure what would be best for her at the moment. She's just kind of this is a lot, and she's just hoping she can keep up with it because she still has no idea what's going on. Really, she doesn't know what the mission is. She hasn't been caught up on anything because not that she would remember it anyway.
An interesting thing happens during this 3 days. You find yourself, your physical prowess, your physical ability increases. Your stamina is amazing as you have gained a point in your strength ability, and you've gained a point in your con, and you've gained advantage in your con saves. This back-to-back physical constant activity that's been with you now for so many days, you just feel your physicality has changed because of it. Memorous, your thoughts, your journey so far?
Well, much like Brash, it has been 3 days and a lot has happened. As for himself, he right now he's seeing everything as he started off in a little pond with little fish. Now he just got thrown into a big pond with very big fish. And he doesn't really have much knowledge on these big fish. He learned that one of his possible allies can turn into a ginormous dragon. There is some kind of creature that is chaos and planet size to some degree. And this is kind of new terrain to him. He's used to knowing everything. He's used to having every answer to every question anyone asks him. And then there's also the situation with the ship where, yes, he had a little help with memories with piloting it, but it's also kind of he was relying on that to do that. Where now he feels like people are going to be relying on him to fly it. With like Calamex, yes, he's been able to do it, but since he did seem to be able to do it with ease, most likely people are going to look to him to be able to pilot the ship.
With that, you begin to focus on that particular skill. You organize your memories that you have remaining. Luckily, that one is intact and still remains inside you. You coalesce it, you form it, you organize it, you map it, you memorize it. You now have advantage on performance and sleight of hand whenever you're piloting the airship. I think I've been talking too much today. You also have obtained what's called the pilot skill. You are now proficient in airship pilotry, and you have advantage whenever you try to fly any aircraft with similar control systems as an airship.
Found our new pilot.
So proficiency while piloting, and then advantage on anything that would be similar.
Advantage on sleight of hand, advantage on performance, and then you have advantage on similar control systems with other flying craft. Calamex, the morning greets you as you come out of the sweat lodge, but it's currently inert. The stones are not lit. There's no steam billowing out. It's just merely a domicile, a place of rest. You come out in time to see the full form of 10 bears. I was watching Josie Wales last night. The full form of Standing Fists. And he's kind of standing there looking at the airship. It's currently swarmed with technicians. You recognize some of the gnomish techs that seem to be working at a very heated pace on both the engine and the recent damage. And you kind of step up alongside Standing Fist.
I just have pants on.
Yeah, so does he. Just has his simple breechcloths on. And he looks over at you. It's strange to have someone almost look eye to eye, but look slightly up at the same time. Do you know your place? Do you know what lies ahead? And he just stares at the airship.
I am the last of an ancient line, and I need to be there to protect the young. That
He
means
turns to
freeing
look.
them and stopping whatever this is.
He turns to look slightly up at you. We are not all that different then, are we? To be the last of anything is a difficult weight to bear. When I look at this mechanical beast in front of me, I see a soulless future. I see a place torn by greed, anger, and the need to do more than what is necessary. The balance of this world is undone. It's that balance of being undone that's led chaos back in and the doorway open. And he kind of like reaches out and he flattens his hand on your heart and pulls away. Your heart aches, but it is not broken. Trust in your friends. Close the door. Step into your future. And he just looks up at you and smiles, and you watch as he transforms into an eagle and flies off into the horizon. And that's where we're going to finish. We'll come back to that next week. It's almost 9:30. As all of you have leveled up, feel free to roll your hit points whenever you want to. And we will come back next week to, well, I should have a map done of the airship. Let me double check one thing so that we can make sure we're still good. 17th. So there's a slight possibility we will not meet for the 24th, as that's the beginning of Turkey weekend. So in case people are traveling or whatever, keep that in mind. That'll probably be an extreme possibility. And then we will meet for sure December 1st. This is not an overly long campaign, but depending on some of the choices that you're going to be making, I always make these campaigns about 2 years in average. This one I'm tinkering with in different ways, so I really don't have in my mind's eye how long this one might be. So a lot of this is new for me, these methods of madness and the Descendants and the way this is all playing out. This is much more of a theater of mind practice for me, and that's why I love it so much. So I may get addicted to this one and never let any of you leave. So and obviously something to keep in mind as well, since we're all together and we have a little bit of time, December 25th is a Saturday. My plan was to close the studio for the Twitch games maybe the 20th through the 1st and be back on a normal schedule the first week of January in case people want to take vacation, travel. But we could talk about that schedule as we get closer to it. It's okay to miss a couple weeks of game, knowing that there's family stuff, holiday stuff, and then we come back the new year and get back to it. So keep that in mind as we plan the rest of the year. It's not that big of a deal. Things go like this all the time. Don't be afraid to say, "Hey, I'm going to be gone for a week," or "I'm going to be gone for this and this." And if it just so happens we all meet and we all say, "Well, you know what? I don't really got anything going on December 22. Can we go ahead and play?" I'm okay with that too. So just keep those holiday dates in mind and keep all that in perspective. And thank you everybody who came out to watch us. Really do appreciate it. I know this is an unusual, different kind of game, but I enjoy it. I think it's fun. It's a fun theater to kind of practice in and experiment with new methods of resolving different things. So we're going to call it a little bit early. I need to get home and help my girl out. She even took care of the chickens and the goats tonight and the sheep since she was already home. I mean, I am spoiled rotten for sure. So with that, everybody, please be safe, be kind, and don't forget to play a game. It's important. You'll love it. I promise. Good night, everybody.
Pray for the puppies.
Yeah.
Bye. Poor puppies.
Mm-hmm. Poor puppies.
Yeah. I hope they get better soon. Parvo's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.